my topic here discussing is here my topic is single phase and three phase full wave rectification or full conversion. Here we are discussing single phase full wave rectification and three phase full wave rectification. In here I am discussing first of all single phase full wave rectifier. Here I am using full bridge for 4 diodes. Here I am using in the first diagram full bridge conversion diode D1, D2, D3, D4. It is parallel with the resistive load. The same way center tapped also here full wave conversion there, but here we are using 2 diodes. Here we are 2 diodes. Center tapped rectifier we are using 2 diodes. In full bridge rectifier here we are using 4 diodes. For both the circuits, 0 less than the output voltage for both the circuits are, first of all, V output is equals to Vm sin omega t, 0 less than or equal to omega t less than or equal to pi. And another one is minus Vm into sin omega t, pi less than or equals to omega t less than or equal to 2 pi. During the positive half cycle, the output voltage is Vm sin omega t. During the negative half cycle, minus Vm of sin omega t, it will become positive also, but minus Vm sin omega t. Whatever the sin omega t will be there, that will be minus that. Here we are after we have to see in the waveform, you have to understood average DC voltage V0 is equals to 1 by pi integral over 0 to pi Vm sin omega t d omega t. Why? Because it is repetitive nature, 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi. That's why here we are only discussing 1 by pi only. Then we have to apply the integral formula for sin omega t. We will get minus cos omega t. Apply the intervals, upper limits and lower limit intervals. We have to substitute. We will get a value as Vm as a constant. We will take from the outside. Overall we will get 2 Vm by pi, that is equals to 0.637 Vm output voltage. Average DC output voltage here is 0.637 Vm. In half wave rectification 0.318. Here it will be doubles the value. Center tap rectifier requires center tap transformer. Full bridge does not. In the previous slide we have to see in the previous slide we have to see center tapped and full bridge circuit diagrams. In that only transformer requirement is only in center tapped transformer. Center tapped rectification only we need a center tap transformer, but in full bridge rectification we need not require transformer or center tap transformer. Center tap rectifier only 2 diodes are required. In full bridge rectifier we need 4 diodes. Hence CT experienced only 1 diode volt drop per half cycle. Conduction losses for CT is off. Diodes rating of the CT is twice than full bridge rectifier, but the rating of the diodes are twice in center tapped rectifier. But the center tapped rectifier the voltage drop only off and the losses also off in center tapped rectification. Full bridge circuit, 4 diodes here we are using, and the load is connected across it. Supply is in between the diodes. The operation of the circuit here is during the positive half cycle diode D1 and D2 are conducting through the load. At that time diode D3 and D4 are off. during the positive half cycle. During the negative half cycle, diode D1 and D2 are off, D3 and D4 are on. During the negative half cycle, at that time D3 load and D4 are conducting, but the load in load current is continuous. Here full wave rectification, there is no interruption. During the positive half cycle, D1 and D2 are conducting. During the negative half cycle, D3 and D4 are conducting. That's why there is no interruption in the current. Here we are observing the bridge waveforms. So supply voltage waveform is first one. It is a sinusoidal waveform. In the next diagram, here we are observing the output voltage. First one, it will be the negative first voltage, it will follows. Next negative value from pi to 2 pi, it will be minus of minus Vm omega t, it will positive also here. Next diagram, here we are observing Vd1 and Vd2 are conducting, that should be positive. Sorry. The third diagram, Vd1 sorry. During the positive half cycle, Vd1 and Vd2 are conducting. During the negative half cycle, Vd3 and Vd4 are conducting. Next one, current is continuous. Similarly, it will follow the output voltage waveform, but magnitude is different. The currents are ID1 and ID2 are conducting. The current is first half cycle is positive, next one is 0, next is positive half cycle. During the negative half cycle, the current through only ID3 and ID4. At that time, first half cycle is 0, next half cycle pi to 2 pi is positive, then 0. Then we will clubbing it, these two currents, ID1 ID2 current and ID3 ID4 currents, we will get an output current. It is a continuous current. Source current, it is a similarly supply voltage, whatever the supply voltage is there, it will follow the supply current also. That's why positive half cycle and negative half cycle, next positive half cycle, negative half cycle, it is a similar to the supply voltage, supply current, but in different in magnitude, different in magnitude. Center tapped circuit, here we are observing, here we are using the center tapped transformer. For the load connection of the center tapping here is required. Here only we have to use two diodes only. During the positive half cycle, diode D1 is conducting. The current flows through the R load. Similarly, during the negative half cycle, diode D2 is conducting. D1 is off. At that time, the current flowing in the same direction, current I0. Here the switching losses are off. Why? Because here only we need only two diodes only. The observation of the center tapped waveforms it is similar to the full wave rectifier waveforms. Center tapped waveforms are similar. These two are similar. Here we are observing. First one is the supply. First waveform is the supply voltage waveform. It is continuous and sinusoidal follows. Next one is the output waveform. That's why full waveform during the negative half cycle, during the negative period pi to 2 pi also it will have the positive value of waveform. At the VD1 it is conducting. At that time it will follow the output voltage. At that time negative voltage appears pi to 2 pi. VD2 condition, negative voltage appears across diode D2 is conducting at that time VD negative voltage is should be appears. The voltage across the diode D1 is conducting means there is no short circuit condition, that's why voltage is 0. Negative half cycle it will negative value should be appears across the diode D1. Similarly at that time it will be short circuited. Diode is short circuited means the voltage appears across the diode is 0. In the fourth diagram we are observing diode D2 is conducting means during the positive half cycle it will be appears the voltage appears across the diode D2, but at the time of negative supply pi to 2 pi negative supply applies, D2 is conducting means it will be short circuited, that's why voltage is 0. Similarly in the fifth diagram the output current waveform, here we are observing I naught, it is continuous, it is positive value. Current values of the during the positive half cycle 0 to pi D1 is conducting, that's why current is positive. Next one during the negative half cycle the current is 0. At that time ID2 during the positive half cycle is 0, during the negative half cycle is positive current is flowing into the load. These two is merged, ID1 current and ID2 currents are merged, we can get the I naught waveform we are getting. It is a continuous waveform, there is no gap, there is no interruption in the output current, it is a continuous current to be generated. Last waveform is the source current waveform, it will follow the input voltage. Full wave bridge uncontrolled RL load. Uncontrolled means here we are using the diodes, that's why it is called uncontrolled RL load. Thyristor is a controlled device, diode is an uncontrolled device. Here we are using the diodes, power diodes, that's why it is called a uncontrolled RL load. Here we are using 4 diodes similarly, but the additionally we can connect a load or load, inductive load we are additionally connected here. In the previous there is no inductive, here is resistive load in series with the inductor is connected. Full bridge RL load waveforms, here we are observing sinusoidal voltage is the supply voltage. ID1 ID2 currents are during the 0 to pi ID1 current is flowing, ID1 ID2 currents. Next ID3 ID4 currents are during the negative half cycle is flowing. These two are merged, we can get the I naught current as a continuous current. Output voltage also we will get in a positive output voltage. Source current is, it will similar to this, not sinusoidal waveform. Why? Because due to inductive nature it will be a rectangular, lightly rectangular it will follows, but it is an alternating nature, the supply current also. Approximation with large inductance L. Here in this topic we are using load inductance value as more. What is the values of current and voltage, here we are discussing. Using Fourier series, V naught of omega t is equals to V naught plus sigma of n is equal to 2 comma 4 to infinity Vn cos n omega t plus pi, where the DC term V naught is equals to 2 Vm by pi. Already we have to known it is due to the resistive nature, we will get an average output voltage as V naught is equal to 2 Vm by pi for the full wave rectifier. That's why here we are substituting V naught value, and the harmonic terms Vn is equals to 2 Vm by pi into 1 by n minus 1 minus of 1 by n plus 1. harmonic terms voltage we are getting. Then the DC current I naught is equals to V naught by R. The harmonic current, why? Because due to inductive loads, the harmonics are generated. That's it will consume some current. The current value as In is equals to Vn by Zn, that is equals to Vn by R plus J into N into omega L. As N increases, Vn harmonic decreases. Number of N increases means N is the number of harmonics. Harmonic value increases, harmonic decreases. N increases means the Vn 1, 3, 5th harmonics, 7th harmonic. The value should be increases. The Vn value should be decreases. Thus, In decreases rapidly, very increasing in N. If omega L is large enough, it is possible to drop all the harmonic terms, that is I of omega t is equals to I naught, that is equal to V naught by R, that is equal to 2Vm by R. For omega L value should be more than R, it will be neglected. RL load approximation, approximate current, that is I naught is equal to V naught by R, that is equal to 2Vm by pi into R. IRMS is equal to square root of I naught square plus sigma of In of RMS square, that is equals to I naught. Power delivered to the load P naught is equals to IRMS square into R. RL load waveforms, here we are observing. First one is the supply voltage waveform, it will be a sinusoidal waveform. Next one is the ID1, ID2 are the continuous current, and due to inductive nature there is a slight variation in the current value, it will be increasing, then 0. Similarly ID3, ID4, it is during the negative half cycle, the current flowing in the circuit is due to resistive nature is constant, and the inductive load purpose it will be varying with respect to time. These two are merged, we will get the output waveform as continuous current for the resistive load. The slight variation will be shown, it will be increasing and then decreasing, slight decreasing and slight increasing. We will due to inductive nature we will get the waveforms separately, R waveform and due to R output current and load current, inductive load current. Output voltage is similarly same as that of the previous one. Positive during the positive half cycle, it will be positive, during negative half cycle also it will be positive. The supply current here is constant and variable, constant and not due to alternating nature, but it is a not sinusoidal waveform, slight sinusoidal waveform and slight straight currents. Here we are observing in the waveforms all input and output waveforms for the full load uncontrolled rectifier. Next topic is controlled full wave R load. Controlled full wave R load. Here we are using 4 thyristors. In the previous slides we are discussing only power diodes. We are using power diodes, but here we are using thyristors. Nothing but is an SCR, silicon controlled rectifier. Here we are using SCR. T1, T2, T3, T4 are the 4 thyristor here we are using for getting a full controlling the full control rectifier, rectification, or we can get the DC output. Nothing but load is similar, R load. Calculate the average output voltage. V naught is equals to 1 by pi integral over alpha to pi Vm sin omega t d omega t, that is equals to Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. RMS voltage V naught RMS is equals to square root of 1 by pi integral over alpha to pi Vm sin omega t whole square into d omega t. Next step, Vm is taken from the outside, it is a constant value, Vm into square root of 1 by 2 minus alpha by 2 pi plus sin 2 alpha by 4 pi. Finally we will get The power dissipated by the resistor load is power output power is equal to Vrms square divided by R only. The here we are using only resistive load, that's why the power consumption is I square into R, otherwise Vrms square by R. Controlled RL load, here we are using additionally inductive load. Controlled means here we are using 4 thyristors T1, T2, T3, T4. During the positive half cycle, thyristor T1 and T2 are conducting. During the negative half cycle, T3 and T4 are conducting. RL load waveforms, discontinuous mode and continuous mode, here we are observing the two waveforms. Here we are observing the output waveforms, discontinuous mode and continuous mode. Discontinuous means there is a gap. Why? Because here some time delay takes place by using the thyristors. It is a discontinuous mode. The operation alpha thyristor firing angle, it will take some time delay to circuit, that's why it is a discontinuous mode. Here we are observing the output waveforms. For the continuous mode means there is no thyristor and power load calculation, there is no power diodes in that we have to use. There is no thyristor means there is no firing angle delay, that's why it is a continuous operation will takes place. Here we are observing the output voltage and output current waveforms in the second diagram, continuous mode operation waveforms. Discontinuous mode analysis, similar to controlled off wave with RL load. Discontinuous mode means controlled off wave. Controlled means it will be controlled means we are using thyristors, that's why the discontinuity takes place due to firing angle delay. The calculation of the current I of omega t is equals to Vm by Z into sin omega t minus theta minus sin of alpha minus theta into e power minus omega t minus alpha by omega tau. For alpha less than or equals to omega t less than or equals to beta, Z is equal to square root of R square plus omega L whole square, and theta is equals to tan inverse of omega L by R, Rx by R. That is equals to tau is time constant, tau is equal to L by R. For discontinuous mode, need to ensure beta value must be less than alpha plus pi. Beta is the extinction angle, the value should be must and should less than the alpha plus pi. Note that beta is the extinction angle and must be solved numerically with conduction. I naught of beta is equals to 0. The boundary between continuous and discontinuous current modes when beta in the output current expression is pi plus alpha. For continuous operation of current at omega t is equals to pi plus alpha must be greater than 0. We will get an operation, the value should must be greater than 0. I of omega t value pi plus alpha should be greater than 0. Sin of pi plus alpha minus theta minus sin of pi plus alpha minus theta into e power minus of pi plus alpha minus a by omega tau greater than 0. Using trigonometry identity, sin of pi plus alpha minus theta is equal to sin of theta minus alpha. Sin of theta minus alpha will take the constant sin of theta minus alpha taken as a constant common, then 1 minus e power minus of pi by omega tau greater than 0. solving for alpha is equals to tan inverse of omega L by R. Thus for continuous current mode, alpha value should be less than or equals to tan inverse of omega L by R. Average DC output voltage given as V0 is equals to 1 by pi integral alpha to alpha plus phi Vm sin omega t d omega t, that is equals to 2 Vm by pi into cos alpha. Next topic is, in the last topic we are discussing single phase, uncontrolled and controlled full wave rectification discussing. Now onwards we are discussing about the three phase rectifiers. Three phase half wave controlled converter with resistive load. Three phase half wave controlled converter with resistive load. Here also two rectifications are there in the three phase circuit. First one is the half wave rectification, next one is the full wave rectification. In the figure shows the three phase half wave controlled converter with resistance load. It consisting of a three phase transformer with primary delta or star and the secondary must be star. The neutral point is brought outside for connecting load. Among the three phases, the thyristor which is having highest positive voltage with respect to neutral is triggered and hence it will conduct. In this converter, each thyristor will conduct over a period of 120 degrees. Here we are using three thyristors, each one conducting for 120 degrees, overall 360 degrees, conducting all the three thyristors. Here we are observing the circuit diagram of the three phase half wave converter. Primary is delta or star, whatever it is, but secondary must be star connected. Why? Because we are connecting the load. The delta connection is a closed path, we cannot connect the load, that's why secondary must and should star connected. Here we are connecting the load RL. Load RL secondary should be connected to the neutral point of the star connected winding. Phase A is connected through thyristor T1, then RL load. Phase B is connected through thyristor T2. Phase C is connected through thyristor T3 through load RL. Here we are observing the waveforms of the three phase half wave rectification. Three phase supply voltage means R, Y, B, nothing but A, B, C, three voltage waveforms. Here we are observing the supply voltage, but at a time only one thyristor is conducting. 5 by 6 to nothing but 30 to 150 degrees. Here we are conducting only T1 thyristor. Next 150 to 270 thyristor T2 is conducting. 270 to 390 degrees thyristor T3 is conducting. Each thyristor here is conducting only 120 degrees only. Load voltage for alpha value greater than 5 by 6. Here we are observing thyristor T1 is conducting, it will follow the input voltage. Thyristor T2 is conducting, it will follow the input voltage. Thyristor T3 is conducting, it will follow the input voltage, but it will reduce, then suddenly it will be rise, not zero. Here we are observing the output voltage. No point is output voltage is 0. For load, suppose the load voltage for alpha value should be greater than 5 by 6. Here in the previous we are observing less than 5 by 6, less than 5 by 6. Nothing but the alpha value should be in between 0 less than or equal to alpha less than or equals to 5 by 6. Last diagram the alpha value, nothing but firing angle value should be more greater than 5 by 6. There is a discontinuity takes place in the output voltage. There is a discontinuity takes place in the output voltage. From the figure P, nothing but output waveform, 3-phase waveforms diagram. The thyristor T1 is connected to phase A, cannot be fired below an angle of 30 degrees, nothing but 5 by 6, because it is reversed biased by already conducting thyristor T3. That's why it is not fired less than 5 by 6. Hence, the minimum firing angle alpha is 5 by 6 only. For the 3-phase half-wave rectification, the minimum firing angle is 5 by 6. Therefore, at omega t is equal to 5 by 6, the thyristor T1 is having the highest positive voltage with respect to neutral is triggered, causes it will conduct from 5 by 6 to 5 pi by 6, or it is called 30 to 150 degrees. Already I have to discuss it with waveforms in the previous slide. At omega t is equal to 5 by 6, the thyristor T2 is having the highest positive voltage with respect to neutral. Hence, it is triggered. Therefore, it will conduct from 5 pi by 6 to 3 pi by 2, or nothing but 150 degrees to 270 degrees as shown in the waveforms already. Similarly, the thyristor T1 will conduct from 3 pi by 2 to 13 pi by 6, nothing but 270 to 390 degrees. Thyristor T3 is conducting. Each thyristor conducts 120 degrees only. The waveform of load current I0 is similar to the load voltage, because the load is resistance and is shown in the figure. Resistive load, there is no time delay, that's why load current is similar to the output voltage waveform. If the firing angle is more than pi by 6, the conduction period of each thyristor is less than 120 degrees, and also the output voltage and currents are discontinuous. Firing angle must more than 5 by 6 means it will reduce the conduction period. That's why there is a time discontinuity operation will take place in the output voltage and current waveforms. The firing angle alpha is measured from 30 degrees below which no SCR is triggered. Hence, at omega t is equal to pi by 6, alpha is equal to 0. Hence, from figure B, for a firing angle alpha from 0 to pi by 6, the load current is continuous. Case 1, here also we can identify the average output voltage and current values. First of all, average output voltage, finding out. V0 is equals to 3 into root 2 into E by 2 pi integral over alpha to 2 pi by 6 plus alpha sine of omega t plus pi by 6 into d omega t. We have to apply the integral formula. We will get 3 into root 2 into E by 2 pi into cos alpha, for alpha value as 0 less than or equals to alpha less than or equals to pi by 6. Continuous current will takes place when where E is equal to RMS of phase voltage. E RMS is equals to E maximum by root 2. Here E value is RMS phase voltage, that's why we can get E RMS is equals to E maximum by root 2. In case 2 means the discontinuous conduction, means the firing angle value should be more than the pi by 6. What happened to the output voltage? Here we are observing discontinuous conduction means pi by 6 less than or equal to alpha less than or equal to 5 pi by 6. The average load voltage as V0 is equals to 3 into root 2 into e by 2 pi integral over alpha to 5 pi by 6 sin omega t plus 5 pi by 6 sin omega t plus pi by 6 into d omega t, that is equals to 3 into e by root 2 pi into 1 plus cos of alpha plus pi by 6. The current value as R is load current as I naught is equal to V naught by R, that is equals to 3 into root 2 into e by 2 pi into 2 pi R into cos alpha. The alpha value should be within the range 0 to pi by 6. The current output current equation is this one. Next, suppose the firing angle is more than the pi by 6. What happened? The current value is 3 into e by root 2 into pi into capital R into 1 plus cos of alpha plus pi by 6. Here the firing angle value is in between pi by 6 and pi by 6. Three-phase fully controlled converter with resistive load. Here also the input primary and secondary, primary whatever it is, it may be star connected or delta connected, there is no problem, but secondary must and should star connected. Here we are using 6 thyristors T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6. Here we are using 6 thyristors. Each time 2 thyristors are conducting. Three-phase fully controlled bridge rectifier with resistive load circuit diagram. The figure shows the three-phase fully controlled converter with resistive load phasor diagram. It consisting of a three-phase transformer with primary and secondary windings in star. Already discussed. In this type of converter, 2 thyristors are triggered at a time, one from the upper arm and other from the lower arm. 2 thyristors must and should triggered at a time. The operation is explained by using the vector diagram as shown in the figure, side figure. From the side figure, assume that phase voltage A is having the highest value and it is triggered, therefore it will conduct current to load with return path either phase B or phase C. Suppose here we assume phase voltage, phase A voltage is highest value and it is triggered, therefore it will conduct current to load with return path, return path either B phase or C phase. At this instant, since phase B is the maximum negative or vector AB is the largest, the return path should be the phase B. Hence the thyristor T5 must be triggered simultaneously with T1. Whatever the value, but here the maximum negative will be B phase. That's why we will go for the T5 thyristor must and should triggered with the T1. Similarly, when the phase B is highest positive, then T2 and T6 are triggered. When the phase for the phase C is the highest negative positive value, at that time thyristor T3 and T4 must be triggered simultaneously. Phase A T1 and T5, phase B T2 and T6, phase C T3 and T4 are simultaneously triggered. In this state of operation, the firing is done once within its conduction cycle, that is 120 degrees. The output would have low average voltage. For 6 pulse operation, each thyristor has to be fried twice in its conduction cycle, that is, firing interval should be 60 degrees instead of 120 degrees. output would be low average voltage. Why? Because here in the previous half wave rectification 120 degrees, here 2 times it will be conducting 60 degrees firing intervals we need. Why? Because here 6 thyristors are there. Each time 2 thyristors are conducting. That the conducting of the each thyristor, the in each thyristor is 60 degrees only, not that one, not more than that one. From the vector diagram, there are 6 line to phasors, each having conduction angle of 60 degrees. Each phasor is A to B, A to C, B to C, B to A, C to A, C to B is allowed to conduct by firing simultaneously a set of 2 thyristors, one from each arm. The sequence of conduction is as follows. From A to B, from T1 to load and return through T5. Suppose the conduction A and B, thyristor T1 and T5 are conducting. From A to C, thyristor T1 and T6 are conducting. B to C is conducting means T2 and T6 are conducting. Return path is T6. B to A means T2 to load and returns to the T4. C to A means T3 to load and returns to the T4. C to B means from T3 to load and returns to the T5. Here we are observing the 3-phase full wave waveforms. Because the load is resistive, the waveform of the output voltage and currents are the same. Here we are observing in the waveforms A to B, B to A to C, B to C, B to A, C to A, C to B. These are the input waveforms. At the time interval, how it will be conducting? It is a continuous mode. A to B, A to C, B to C, B to A. These two are voltage and current output waveform. They are continuous waveforms. For discontinuous mode, the alpha value, nothing but firing angle value, should be more than the pi by 6. The discontinuity of operation will take place. For this one, R the load output voltage for the full wave rectifier is V0 is equals to 6 into root 2 into E by 2 pi integral over alpha to pi by 3 plus alpha sine of omega t plus pi by 3 into d omega t. Finally, the output voltage is 3 into root 2 by pi into E into cos alpha. For alpha value must and should in between 0 less than or equals to alpha less than or equals to pi by 3, where E is the RMS value. Average load current is I0 is equals to V0 by R. I0 is equal to 3 into root 2 into E by pi into R into cos alpha amperes. Compare single phase to 3 phase. Here we are discussing two topics: full wave conversions for using the single phase and full wave rectification by using the 3 phase also. But what is the difference between 3 phase and single phase? Here we are observing the characteristics for 3 phase and single phase. First one, we have to observe line current. How is the line current in 3 phase and single phase? In 3 phase, less distortion takes place, but in single phase conversion, more distortion takes place for the line current. The second point is operating power factor. Operating power factor is better in 3 phase conversion, less in single phase conversion. Another one is voltage regulation. In 3 phase converter is less than 5%. In single phase conversion, very poor. Voltage regulation is very poor for single phase conversion. Next one is the filters. Smaller rating filters are required as compared to single phase converters. Here we are using small ratings are required. In 3 phase conversion, filters are very small rating filters we need here, but in single phase conversion high rating filters are required. And fifth point, design of firing circuit. Here is more complicated. In three phase conversion is more complicated designing of firing circuit. In single phase conversion is very easy. Uses medium and large rating three phase converters are using. For low rating applications single phase conversion is enough. Single phase conversion is enough. Thank you.